Well, hello there, my beautiful friends. Today we are going to be doing our weekly dose of window shopping here in Pay or Stay Away, where we take a look at things that have been announced in the makeup community and decide whether or not we want to spend our hard-earned coin on them. So if you are interested in seeing what is new in the makeup world, then go ahead and keep on watching and let's jump right on in. Alright people, let's go ahead and just jump straight on into the releases here, because this is a release that I have personally been just wishing and hoping and asking for so freaking long. I don't even know how long it's been at this point, because I've just been asking for it for such a long time, and my god, have my prayers been answered or what. And these are the new Pat McGrath Blitz Astral eyeshadow quads. These are going to be retailing for $65 each. They are available now, and they're technically a part of her holiday 2019 collection. So I do believe these are going to be limited edition. But the special thing about these eyeshadow quads is that they contain the beautiful and unique and glistening glittery eyeshadow formula that is in every single one of her mothership palette, at least her $125 mothership palettes. And I have basically been asking for her to come out with singles, or at least some kind of form where we can get these types of eyeshadows without having to go and purchase one of her $125 mothership palettes, because a girl does not have $125 to be spending on makeup, okay? I gotta pay my rent, I gotta eat, I do not have the money to be throwing around $125 to be able to get 4 eyeshadows out of an entire palette that I want. That's not to be said that I haven't done it before, but you get what I'm saying. It's been very, very expensive to be able to obtain these up until now. And don't get me wrong, $65, as I said, is very, very expensive, but this is Pat McGrath we're talking about. Okay, Auntie Pat likes to charge a pretty penny for her products because she knows that they're damn good. Now, I've been asking for Auntie Pat to come out with singles of this glittery, baked, glistening eyeshadow formula for such a long time, and she didn't come out with singles, and really complaining about that would just be nitpicking at this point. But basically, she came out with 2 different types of palettes here. We have the iconic Illumination palette, which consists of more neutral-based tones, although we do get a really beautiful burgundy shade in this palette, which is very reminiscent of one of the burgundy shades that is in the Mothership 5. And then we have the Nocturnal Nirvana palette, which obviously has blue tones and teal tones and is a bit more colorful, although it's not really my cup of tea as far as colorful palettes go. But that's not to be said that I can't appreciate it. I do think it's really beautiful, although I do prefer the more neutral one, and that is the one that I went ahead and purchased. I know I don't need to be spending $65 on eyeshadow at this point, but I couldn't resist, okay? This is something that I have been asking for forever, and I knew I couldn't turn down this opportunity. Now, I know I said I wasn't gonna nitpick, but I'm gonna nitpick a little bit here, okay? I honestly wish she would have come out with 4 different quads for the holiday 2019 collection, because to me, 4 quads with 4 eyeshadows just makes more sense. It just goes together a little bit better. I feel like there could have been at least 1 more, because the color schemes to me seem a little bit just, I don't know, like there's something missing. I definitely think a purple one could have been used, or maybe a pink one. I mean, obviously I'm gonna ask for that, but I really do think that, you know, this collection could have benefited from a purple one very reminiscent of the Mothership 4 palette. I'm pretty sure had more purple-based tones in it. I feel like if she would have came out with a quad that just represented that palette, this would have been a perfectly rounded out collection. I just feel like something's kind of missing out of the colors that she did pick for this collection. But like I said, that's just me nitpicking, even though I said I wasn't going to. But honestly, I'm just really happy that we finally reached a point here in the makeup world where we can get Pat McGrath glittery eyeshadow formulas without having to fork over $125, okay? But honestly, I'm just so happy that we finally reached a point in the beauty industry and the beauty world here that I can purchase this beautiful Pat McGrath eyeshadow glittery formula without having to give her $125 and fork over my firstborn child to get these eyeshadows. I can actually obtain these without having to do that. So Auntie Pat, thank you for blessing us yet again with your infinite wisdom and your infinite knowledge of all things makeup. But in the future, come out with more quads, because you have a long line of people here waiting to purchase more and wanting to purchase more. We're willing to fork over our money to you, so just give us more colors so we can do that, even though it might hurt us a little bit inside. While we're on the topic of expensive makeup that we're all probably still gonna buy anyway, but it's still gonna hurt just a little bit, we have something new from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is her holiday 2019 collection as well, which is available now, and it is limited edition. So this collection consists of some lip products and most importantly that beautiful eyeshadow palette, the Palette of Pop's eyeshadow palette in the shade Pillow Talk, which retails for $53 and only consists of 4 shades. Yet again, we have another quad that is very, very pricey and is probably going to clean me out of all my money. She also came out with a lip luster gloss, which is in the shade Pillow Talk, which is $22, but personally I don't really care about that. I care more about this beautiful eyeshadow palette. Now, clearly here by the name, I'm sure you can tell, this is a part of the Pillow Talk ever-expanding collection, it seems like. I feel like, you know, she dropped this collection maybe 2 years ago, and it's just every other release out of Charlotte Tilbury has been Pillow Talk this and Pillow Talk that. Actually, I think it was just a year ago, so it's only been around for a short amount of time, and it's already so vast. And her brand is always coming back to the Pillow Talk line. But Charlotte Tilbury has kind of made that her whole thing and her whole vibe with her collection and her line in general, so I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I have the original Pillow Talk quad. I'm actually wearing it just a little bit today. I don't really have a lot of eye makeup on, but I have just a smidge of Pillow Talk underneath my lower lash line, and I love that palette. It was very, very expensive, and I don't think it was really worth the money, but I do love it. This palette is a little bit more interesting than just the OG Pillow Talk palette. As you can tell by the name, this is the palette of pops. So in every single Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow quad, there is one shade that is their pop shade. Basically, it's a sparkly, glittery formula that isn't too chunky. It's just the perfect amount of sheen and sparkle to go on top of your lid, just to bring all the attention to the center of the eye. They're meant to be used for that classic makeup artist technique where you do an entire eye look and you finish it at the very end with a beautiful, sheer, sparkly type of eyeshadow. That's the kind of eyeshadow that these pops are. And basically what she's done here is taken an entire quad and made them all pops. So obviously she's got me interested here. I am notorious for loving sheer-ish, buildable, sparkly, wet-looking type eyeshadow toppers, and this is an entire palette of eyeshadow toppers. I am highly, highly interested and very, very tempted, but you know, between the Pat McGrath palette, which is $65 for 4 shades, and the Charlotte Tilbury palette, which is $53 for 4 shades, that's a whole lot of dough for 8 eyeshadows. Now, if you would have asked me 3 months ago or so if I would have purchased both of these palettes, I would have said hell yeah and not even blinked an eye about it. I was way more irresponsible with my spending because I didn't have rent to pay and I didn't have all these bills and whatnot. And as I stated in last week's Pay or Stay Away, I just moved, so I need to be more responsible with the money that I have. My makeup spending money has been very, very limited, so I'm really only purchasing things that I absolutely know that I'm going to be using. And although I know I would use this palette, I know that I have things that are similar enough in my collection to be able to justify me not getting this. So even though it hurts me a little bit inside, kind of a lot of bit inside, I know I have to skip over this palette. Will I ask for this palette for Christmas from a relative or a friend? Yeah, probably, and hopefully I'll be able to get it, but I cannot go out and spend the $53 on these 4 tiny little eyeshadows. Did I mention that the actual size of these pans are significantly smaller than Pat McGrath's? I almost said Paula Deen's. Than Paula Deen's eyeshadow palette. Yeah, that's not a thing, and that's not ever going to be a thing. Let's not make that a thing, folks. So it's nothing against Miss Charlotte herself or her palette of pops. I just simply cannot afford Pat McGrath and Charlotte Tilbury in 1 week, okay? Both of these ladies are fantastically talented, have beautiful makeup, and have beautiful makeup lines, but girl, I cannot afford to purchase both of those makeup lines. Trucking right along here, folks, we have something new from Lunar Beauty, which is, of course, Manny MUA's makeup line, and this is the Moonspell collection. Now, this guy is going to be dropping on October 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so set your alarms if you are interested. Now, Trendmood legitimately just announced this collection like just a few minutes ago here, and this is basically a Halloween eyeshadow collection that is inspired by witches, pop culture, and is limited edition. So this collection is going to include the Moonspell eyeshadow palette, which has 15 different shades and it retails for $48. There are 2 different liquid lipsticks, it seems like, which are going to be $18 each in the shades Witch Bitch, cute name, and that's going to be a deep blood red, or Wicked, which is a black. Not really my cup of tea, but I understand why people would want that, especially during this time of year. They're also coming out with the Enchantment glosses, which are going to be $17 each, the lip set for $42 each, or the entire collection for $80, which is not bad by any means considering all that you're getting. So let's go ahead and talk about the outside packaging here. I think it's super, super cute. It's very reminiscent of obviously this time of year and Halloween and whatnot, but it's also very reminiscent of tarot cards. And before I get started into all of this, I just want to say that I know that there's a lot of kind of taboo connotations with this type of topic and with witches and with tarot cards and whatnot, and you know, I respect anybody's belief when it comes to just about anything as long as it's not hurting other people. I'm here to talk about makeup, folks, so let's keep it nice in the comments, okay? But nonetheless, I think this is very, very cute packaging, although I do understand why some people might not really like it. I think it's cute. Now, I really also like this color scheme. Of course, I love the purples. It looks like we have some duochromes in there. We have some purple duochromes. I think this is a really pretty palette. Now, I know that I don't personally need this palette, but I think it's really cute. I actually find this palette to be more exciting than the Strawberry Dream palette, which is very, very shocking because I thought I was going to be absolutely in love with that palette, but honestly, I was pretty damn disappointed by the color scheme of that palette. But this palette's different. I think it's really pretty, but I know I own these colors. So if anything, I'll go ahead and just be inspired by this palette and pick out shades that I already own that remind me of this color scheme because I'm inspired by it and I think it's gorgeous. But simply put, I just don't need to purchase it because I already own things like it. I would absolutely love to do a palette dupes video on this particular palette here because I know I own, you know, practically every shade in this palette already. So I would love to put that together for you if that's something that you want to see. And honestly, even if you don't want to see it, I think I'm going to do it anyway, just for the hell of it, just because I want to. Honestly, if I didn't already own these colors, I would totally go out and purchase this because I think it is beautiful and pretty unique for the most part, and I think it really fits this time of year quite well. So I actually really like this release, and considering I haven't really been interested in any of the Lunar Beauty releases that have launched thus far, this is kind of a step in the right direction in my opinion for Manny's brand, because so far his packaging has just been absolutely to die for, and then when I actually see the inside of the palettes, I've just been kind of turned off by them and not super excited. So this is definitely exciting from, you know, his brand and just from him in general. So I'm excited to see what else he comes out with because this one's a hit in my opinion. And last but certainly not least, we have something new from Copacetic Cosmetics. That is a tongue twister, my god. Copacetic Cosmetics, Copacetic. I'm not even gonna attempt that right now, but this is the Unicorn Policy palette. Not entirely sure what a unicorn policy is, but that is besides the point. But this is available for pre-order as of right now, and it retails for $18 for 4 shades. Finally, a quad that is not an arm and a freaking leg, my god. But this is basically a unicorn inspired quad. As you can see by the color scheme, we have pastel rainbow goodness here. This is like a rainbow quad just turned up a notch. We have a little bit more excitement here because they are pastel shades, but they aren't super incredibly light. So I feel like this would be the perfect pastel rainbowy type palette for a bunch of different skin tones because they're not just, you know, strictly chalk toned pastel colors. We have some deeper tones in here and they look really, really beautiful. Obviously, these are all metallics, but I've personally tried Copacetic Cosmetics' metallics before, and they are very smooth and buttery and silky, and they're very gel-like as well, which I personally do like in a metallic, so I know a lot of people aren't really into that. If you have oily eyelids, it might not be your jam, but honestly, I've been pretty impressed with what I've tried from them so far. That being said, I haven't really tried that much, but I digress. But I don't really think I'm gonna be purchasing this palette just because I went ahead and purchased the Pat McGrath quad, and I feel like I don't necessarily need any colors out of this palette. Now, if she was selling that beautiful pink metallic shade on its own, maybe I'd be speaking a different story here, and if she ever does come out with it on its own, I'll probably go ahead and purchase that because her single eyeshadows, I believe on Tuesdays she sells some of them for $2 each, and usually they're around $4, so they are very, very affordably priced. I'm always a happy girl when a brand isn't charging me an arm and a leg for their single shadows and I don't have to hand over my firstborn child to them. I'm always happy when that happens. So if they decide to ever come out with singles of this palette, I most definitely will be picking up that beautiful metallic pink because you know me, I cannot resist a metallic pink, especially at a good price. But until then, I'm gonna go ahead and skip over this palette just because I simply don't need it. I guess I'm not part of the unicorn policy, whatever the hell that means. God, that was corny. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. That is gonna be ending this week's Pay or Stay Away, but as we always do, let me know in the comments what you're gonna be picking up for this week. What are you gonna be skipping over? Is there anything that I mentioned that you want? Anything you don't want that you feel very strongly towards? Let me know in the comments below and let's strike up a conversation about makeup. With that being said, if you enjoy Pay or Stay Away and you wanna join me every single Monday, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you liked the video, if you found it helpful, if you found it entertaining in any anyway, then go ahead and give me a big old thumbs up. It helps out minuscule microscopic YouTubers such as myself, so if you choose to do so, then I greatly appreciate you. But with that being said, I hope you are having an absolutely amazing and beautiful day wherever you are, and thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope to see you next time. Bye!